finished that video yet? What? Sorry, I was busy playing Balatro. Okay, so there's an indie game that has people absolutely hooked and everyone is talking about it. Balatro. You're at the work watering hole talking to yourself due to your clown makeup and everyone is talking about Balatro. You're at the work canteen by yourself due to the clown makeup and everyone is talking about Balatro. You're in the club, which is otherwise empty due to your clown makeup. And everyone is talking about it. Balatro. But why? Well, it's a really good game. It asks the simple question, what if you were playing poker by yourself, due to your clown makeup, and then you went mad? The premise is easy. You have a standard deck of 52 cards, and you need to make poker hands to score points. The more impressive the hand you create, the more points you get. You have a number of hands to achieve the goal score, in which you then progress to the next round, to get an even greater score. Sure, you can mulligan and pray that your river, flop, and turn all come in at once, and you get that desired hand, like a straight or a flush, a 4 of a kind, 2 of a kind. So many poker hands to play, and all to play for. But eventually you're going to have to start playing and praying, trying to work out the best way to achieve that big score. So far, so strange poker. Where Balatro really shines is that this is secretly a roguelike deck builder. For every pack of cards, there's always at least one joker. And what's this in here? Oops, it's all jokers. This is actually just a normal deck of cards, although I don't actually know if there is a joker in here. I hope you like randomized runs where you build a bespoke and strange system, because that's the true sweet juice that runs through Balatro. There are a ton of jokers in this game, and their role is to provide a variety of abilities and quirks to your runs. You start out with simple options, like a joker that gives you +4 multiplier to every played hand, increasing the points you get per play. But steadily, you find stranger and weirder cards, ones that get more points for every flush you play, for every spade you play. Every time you discard a card, something happens. Every time you don't discard a card, something happens. And that's only the surface level of curios that you'll be exposed to. But wait, there is more. Not much more, just enough to make things spicy. Specifically, science and magic. Specifically, science and magic. Well, harnessing the power of the planets, and also harnessing the power of Jungian personality archetypes. They're not just from Persona. You mean tarot cards aren't from Persona? On your journey through the blinds, no, not those ones, you can open a variety of booster packs with planets to improve the multipliers and scores of certain hand types, and also Arcana packs, which provide a variety of effects. So you'll be getting bigger points for your played hands, but also trying to adjust and improve your deck by giving them inherent abilities or trimming cards you don't want, or simply turning everything steadily into one suit or value to make drawing specific hand types more likely and making your machine more efficient at scoring points, hoping to wipe the arrogant smile off of that annoying clown. And that's the basics of Balatro. Using these little bits and pieces, you'll be doing run after run, making steadily stranger but better decks, all in the hopes of finishing that sweet 8-boss run. I mean, I finished the tutorial to completion on my first go, so how hard can it be? Right, I've explained what the game is, but now I'm going to explain what the game is. Specifically highlighting wild and dumb ideas and just how those hooks sink in and make a simple puzzle really good. You can absolutely lose yourself in the source in Balatro. You'll start off simply just boosting hands as you can and hoping desperately to try and scrape by, constantly fighting for your life against the rising tide of blinds. No, not those ones. But eventually, things will begin to click. You'll understand what jokers you're aiming for, seeing the one that helps any hand that has a pair in it, providing a bonus, so you pump loads of resources into increasing the rank of your pairs. And then realizing way too late that this also would apply to anything that has a pair in it, like 2 pairs, or 3 of a kind, maybe even a full house, which all have much better level scaling. Similarly, you can start upgrading things so much that when you hit that sweet royal straight flush, the king of hands, well, it would be pretty sweet, right? The thrill, the rush. But just kidding, a regular plain flush is actually better at this point due to the alignment of the planets. You end up limiting yourself to less impressive hands that you can hit more frequently and more consistently to get more points. What can I say? I'm something of a Balatro myself. But while you start with simple decks, with simple modifiers, like an extra discard, woo, there are plenty of decks of cards for you to play with. Like this one here, which is, for some reason, it's a Destiny 2 deck of cards that I have. I think it was a perk of game retail from many years ago. Also, I've got this random Doctor Who one. I don't even like Doctor Who that much. Why do I have so many decks of cards? There's a deck that is, quite frankly, my favourite. It's a deck that is entirely hearts and spades. You begin to work out how you can absolutely hit this thing with hammers and create an incredible point machine. Watching with a profound sense of pride as it pops off, knowing full well that you're just sat in the dark on a work night, impressing no one but yourself. This is where you begin to make things like a flush house, a 5 of a kind, or even a flush 5 of a kind, manipulating your deck to make things that shouldn't exist. You become some silly level of unstoppable as you rapidly convert everything to one colour, one rank, one soul. And it's my favourite deck to play. So much so that I actually briefly forgot other suits existed. What the hell is a club? How do I make hands with so many colours? There's another deck that has no face cards at all. All the jokers that are about face cards become worthless. But there's 1 or 2 that get better for every hand played that didn't have a face card in. You thinking what I'm thinking? That's right. Destroy the monarchy. But suddenly brute forcing straight becomes a lot easier when there are fewer different cards to draw, and you're just absolutely immediately popping off. It's almost sad how genuinely proud I got with some of these decks. I started recording a lot of these just because I'm proud of them. Like, none of this audio is usable. It's just random Jenny Nicholson videos or Northern Lion clips in the background.
So, you didn't have a bacterial infection, Mr. Confident. You had 2 bacterial infections at the same time.
But when things work, they feel so good. There's also this one deck that averages out your multiplier and chips before scoring, and I don't know, it seems weird. I can't wait to try it properly. The more you play, the greater your sense of mastery begins to build. Sure, you've realized that moving your jokers to have the multipliers come in after the additive bonuses is great. That's just maths. But then you begin to realize that you can move them mid-round. So you might get a specific bonus one way, but then you can move the joker to get an even bigger bonus from a different card, and now you're playing with cards. As you increase the level of challenge for each deck, the level of mastery at play grows with it, as you're in a cold war for hours and hours with steadily growing blinds. No, not those ones. Look, this game will eat at your time due to just how effective, simplistic, and easily accessible the puzzle is. Each run really only takes like 30 minutes to an hour tops, and that's provided you do well and don't find yourself face to face with that awful clown. But the thing is, you can't just play one game, can you? We've all been there. You're in the middle of doing some work and you think you'll treat yourself to a little game just to clear the mind, right? And before you know it, you're wanted in 7 countries for clown-related crimes. Man, I really need to finish editing this video. Not today though, there's clowns to destroy. When you fail a run in Balatro, you're rarely left with a sense of frustration, feeling like the game was impossible, unwinnable. Instead, you just feel like you're outpaced, and that maybe if you try again, the cards will fall just right, and you'll finally break through those big blinds. No, not those ones! Balatro has a psychedelic atmosphere, an almost cerebral element to it as you plug away at this puzzle of moving cards around to make numbers go up, smiling to yourself as numbers suddenly just explode big. The game never makes a big fanfare of anything, it never shakes violently, stressing you out. It's just there, waiting like calming, shifting waters, just waiting for you to submerge into, enthralling you to its oily slickness, only allowing you just enough time to pause and hang out with your cat, Jeremy Corbyn, because he was looking particularly cute at the time. It's the sort of roguelike that is quick and easy and dangerously gripping. At night, I'd close my eyes and think of Jeremy's cute little face, and slowly the UI of Balatro would fade in over the top. At first, with about 25% opacity, but the more I played, the more that grew. 50% opacity, 75% opacity, until Jeremy was no more. Only Balatro. Now then, it's time that we got a little bit serious for a second. Yes, looking like this isn't going to help me at all. There will be people who will look at Balatro and think, oh no, it's gambling, get it out of here, which is entirely understandable. Gambling in video games is a massive issue, with loot boxes and gacha systems being used to milk players for money in a lot of games, all for that sweet spin of the wheel. But Balatro is not a gambling game. It is a single purchase, and that's it. It wears the clothes of poker, but otherwise is completely devoid of any gambling, real money or otherwise. You are not betting for your points, the blinds are simply scores to beat. Early Pokemon games had a greater sense of gambling with the slots at the casino. Balatro does not involve you putting forward something of value to risk it for a chance at greater or lower value. It simply uses the ideas of chips and cards as thematical concepts. But that doesn't diminish the effect that this sort of imagery can have on people who have been affected by or with gambling problems. The Pan-European Games Information System, PEGI, gave Balatro an 18 rating due to its prominent gambling imagery, up from originally a 3+. I don't personally agree with this. Again, I would say that Balatro is just a puzzle deck builder, a thinking man's Slay the Spire. But this is imagery and thoughts that put people on edge. For what it's worth, Fortnite, Genshin Impact, and Overwatch all have an age rating of 12+, despite arguably featuring loot boxes and gacha systems purposefully designed to prey on addiction for money, and also aimed at actual children. These are systems where you put up something of value in-game, be it actual money or in-game currency, and risk it for something of greater or notably lower value. I'm not an expert in the field, but I have put a website in the description and here for a UK gambling charity, Gamble Aware. So Balatro is truly the hit it became, with good reason. This was meant to be a quick and easy look at a game that I'd taken a dalliance on between larger projects. And instead, it became this long because the experience was wholly enrapturing and the puzzle so effective that I just needed to talk about it. At first, I was put off by the presentation, the sudden burst of fame, but after sitting down to play it, the puzzle just works, and it's really good. Now, if I could finally get past those higher blinds. Oh, hello there. I was just gazing upon the society which shuns me due to the makeup of a clown that I have on. It makes sense. Anyway, this was a video of Balatro. It was meant to be really quick, just a quick flash in the pan, throwaway video, and it ended up being like 20 minutes long because I spent lots of my life playing Balatro and not doing anything else. And therefore I've got lots of fun plays of Balatro that I'm like, oh, look at what I did, check it out, yeah. Anyway, if you liked this video, let me know by clicking the like button. That's how those things work. Otherwise, if you have thoughts on Balatro, let me know. Or clowns, let me know. Jeremy, please, there's a cactus down there. What are you doing, boy? There he is. Or you can click up here, in which there'll be a video about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, my most recent video. But one, because down here you have a video all about Robot Quest Arena, which is a deck building game, not unlike Balatro, except significantly fewer clowns. Speaking of, you can click on my face, where there's a face orb, not a clown orb, so just subscribe. It's like a heat wave and I'm dressed wearing a fucking blanket onesie. I am melting. Thank you and goodbye. Let the world see my face, my horrific face. Ignore the fact I'm in my pants. They must gaze upon my face, my disgusting face, my human face.